everyone, I'm Cody from Code with Cody and welcome back to the second video in this beginner Python series. If you haven't watched the first video already, I recommend you check that out. I will put a link up here. And now that we're in the IDLE shell, which you should have opened, you can go to File and New File. This should open up a window that looks something like this, and then you could save this by going to File and Save As. And now we can start actually coding. So in the last video I talked about print statements. And print statements are outputs, which are what the computer does with information that's given. And in this video I'm going to talk more about inputs, which are what the computer takes in. What the computer takes in. So they're basically the two main ones. So inputs, what the computer takes in, outputs, what the computer does with that information and puts back out. And in this video, I'm just going to be talking about inputs. And so we can do this by typing input in Python. Then we could write our parentheses and then our prompt. And our prompt is what we want to say. So I could say enter your name, and then you will be able to enter your name and actually type in the console. And this will run fine, but it will not save the input. And in order to save the input, we can use variables. So we could write name is equal to input, and then this will work, and this will save whatever we write as our input to the variable name. And then we can print that out, so this is our output here, and then we could write hello, and then I'm gonna put a space here, because then we can actually smush the variable name and hello together. So just by that, you have to put a plus sign though, so Python knows you want to smush them together. And if I didn't put the space here, it would just be smushed, and there would not be any spaces in between. So we want that space there. And then you can go to File and Save. You have to do that before you run every time. And then you can run the module. And then enter your name. Well, my name is Cody, so I'm going to enter in Cody. And you can see it'll write hello Cody. And then we can drag that off to the side for now. And now we can use these inputs in a whole ton of different situations. So we can make a calculator, which is what we'll be doing next. We could make, a program that asks you what your favorite foods are and then gives you recipes that are similar or something. And there's infinite possibilities basically. And we're gonna actually make a calculator, a basic calculator here. So we could write num1 stir, and num is an abbreviation for lots of coding things for number. 1 and stir, I will tell you why I put stir there a bit later, equals input. Then our prompt could be enter your first number. And then we could write num2 stir equals input your second number. And I also kind of want to put a space there so the numbers aren't squished. So now we can, the reason why I put the stir there, first I want to talk about that, is because Python, when you write inputs by default, Python just saves them as strings. And strings you can't add together like with math. You can squish them together, but they won't. If you had 1 plus 1, it wouldn't be 2, it would be 11, because 2 ones is an 11 if you put them side by side. So we could actually write num1 equals, then we can actually convert different types of data to each other. So normally you'd want to convert strings to these different types of data, but you can do that with anything else too. So we don't put parentheses in here. Well, we put parentheses, not quotation marks. But then we enter our variable that we want to convert. And I added stir here because stir is string, means string. And then this will convert num1 stir into a number, and we'll save it into num1. We could do the same with num2. Nope. Parentheses, then num2 stir. We don't need a space there, you can if you want to. And then these will convert the num1 stir variable and num2 stir variable into numbers, which is what we want. And then we can have our output or print. And print's not the only output, but it is the easiest one, and it's what we've learned so far. And we could print out num1 plus num2. Then this will add them together, like in math. And if we go to File and Save, then run module. Oops, I didn't actually click that. And then it will enter your first number. So I'm going to say 7 and 4. Then this will print out 11, because that's 7 and 4. And then we can do any type of operation with these. So if we wanted to, we can have a minus, we could subtract them, we could multiply them with a little star, and we can divide them or the slash. And this will work across the board, no matter what operation you use. You can use other operations besides what I showed you. Those are just the most common. And you can also convert any different types of types of data. So you could convert that into a boolean or bool, or a float if you wanted to. But int is just what I did for this video because that's what we wanted. And if you run this, actually, I'm gonna save this again. You file and save, and if you run this, and I didn't click save again. Okay, so you have to make sure you click save, or else you'll get that warning. But that warning is fine; it'll save for you automatically. But if I were to say put a string there, and then so 2 strings, right? If I would get an error, and errors in Python are common. This isn't a big program, so it's not super easy. I mean, super hard to get an error, especially since you're a beginner. So this line is probably the most important line here. This will tell you where the error happened. So it happened when I was trying to convert num1 stir or string into a number. And it can't do that because these aren't numbers. These are strings. They will always be strings. They cannot be converted into numbers. So, and you could just look at this line, and it's probably the most useful line here. Now there are other lines, and it is a lot more complicated. Here I'll show you some more. You don't really have to pay too much attention to those because they are very complicated to understand. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about in this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And bye.